Well, hello. Last time I did a plane video, it was a Cobi video on the Macchi C202 Folgore. Um, the Lightning. And I explained there was another one, the Macchi 205 Veltro Greyhound. A little bit faster. Well, this is in 1/32 scale. And now I know for sure it is because I have unearthed two of my 21st century toys Macchi fighter planes. They're the same scale. I will show those to you in a second. Most of the information in this video have come out of this book, Fighting Aircraft of World War II, a Salamander Books book. It's paperback. I believe you can still get it, but a lot of little detail information. And if you're going to build World War II models, this is a good companion. It gives you pretty good details. Now, I'm not going to get crazy with the speeds and stuff, but basically just to show you this plane. Oh boy. This work I've been doing to try to make it look good, I'm just going to destroy it. Okay. Here you go. This is a 21st Century Toys Macchi C202 Veltro. Or Folgore. You cannot get these anymore. This company is out of business. They started in the late 1990s, early 2000s, and they made precision styrene plastic, I believe, models. Models that you can hold and look at. They're plastic. They're frail. They're not like the Cobis where you can go and something happens, you can redo them because they are what they are. So, is Cobi one a 1/32 scale? Yes. They are identical, almost identical in paint. So we're going to put the Cobi one down for a second and we'll go back to the 21st century toy version. Now, this has retractable landing gear also. I'm going to retract it once and then I'll leave it be and then we'll go ahead with this video. But I'm going to retract the landing gear now. And I have a lot of these 21st century toy models, different types of aircraft. Some of them identical to my Cobi models. I would not manhandle them like I do the Cobis because you break these, you're gluing them and putting them together. And here she is with landing gear down. Just look at how nice. The detail on this plane, they're beautiful. And I had hundreds of them. Not hundreds of them, several of them. I misspoke there. These were about, I want to say $17, $18 each. Walmart actually had these. Toys R Us had these, and I would just buy them up as quickly as I can. I've sold some. I've had them in 1/18 scale, but 1/32 scale is the most manageable. Their action figure pilots, get a look of him in there. They're not like the Cobis. The Cobis are more intimate. You can do stuff and take them out. He's like a basic 1/32 scale model airplane pilot, and he doesn't really come out of here. I've never tried to take him out because he'd knock the instrument panel out. But this is what it looks like. This particular plane, top speed of this plane, I'm going to go with what I found in the book. It is 373 miles an hour at 18,400 feet, 475-mile range. Two 12.7 millimeter 50 caliber Beretta machine guns in the nose, two 7.7s in the wings. And bear with me, I'm going to try to give you a little bit right there. One there, one there. Now, as far as this ornament, in the field, a lot of the wing guns, were changed to 12.7 millimeters. So you have four of them, two in the cowling, one in each wing. Somebody said it's a weak ornament. Not really, because a P-51B with 450 caliber machine guns is the same ornament. It's just all their firepower is in the wings. This one, two above, firing through the propeller arc is a synchronization gear, and you have your wing mounts. And this one is probably the most numerous. It uses the German Daimler-Benz DB601 1,000 horsepower engine, which Alfa Romeo made, and they tweaked it, probably did a little bit better. If you look at the propeller hub, the Cobi one has a 20 millimeter cannon. I don't know if any of them officially, I know some of them did put it because this engine has the ability to fire a cannon through the actual engine itself. So what you see here is basically North African Mediterranean camouflage, but just look at the beauty of this plane, how sleek. You see that kind of the detail with these models that you don't see with a Cobi. I mean, you do, but you don't. You see it actually up in front here. I mean, look how smooth the lines are. They took great pains to build this. And when I say Italian and German over engineering, it means they try to make everything perfect, but you can't make perfection practical all the time, and that's when you would run into problems in the fields, issues with fuel, issues with other things. But actually, they made this plane flawless, so it will perform. This plane could take on the P-38 Lightning, P-40s, Spitfires. It had the ability to maneuver and a very good fuel-injected engine, and it could just turn and cut on a dime. So you're looking at basically a very potent plane, a very good plane, and probably Italy's most famous World War II fighter. Now, they did have another engine, the DB605, which was kind of troublesome. The issues with the DB605 were oil. I don't know if it's oil volatility. What I think happened is the oil was cooked to the point where it would get very dirty, just like if you had a turbocharger. These were supercharged, these planes, by the way. This intake is for the supercharger. You can see it in a little bit better detail on the 21st Century Toy version, but you see it on good detail in the Cobi one. So basically, this one did not have the issues that the other one. When they moved to the DB605, and that is a 1,500 horsepower, they had a problem with the oil. I'm thinking from just reading that I read that when you have a supercharger or turbocharger, you have to keep the oil very, very clean and not let it get to a point where it cooks. When it cooks, it gets dirty. It picks up little particles in the engine that'll go in. And you see the same thing in modern turbocharged cars. If you don't clean it and keep the oil clean and like change the oil as quickly as you can. They have intercoolers to help cool off everything so you're not cooking the oil. But like when they transitioned from this engine to the 605, and that engine went in the BF109G, you had some problems with it. Well, the Italians being the Italians, like the Germans, like I said, like the over-engineer, did a few tweaks on the successor, which is basically this plane up-engined and kind of changed. So you see this one out in the battlefields in North Africa. You see these in the Mediterranean over Malta. You see these flying, defending Sicily when the United States and England invaded. You see them in Italy, trying to defend Italy from American and British. And these are good planes. The Germans like them too, because actually I guess these things were like better to fly and more light and agile handling than the ME-109s. And a lot of pilots fear these, and a lot of good Allied pilots and good planes got knocked down by these guys. Well, the DB605 engine comes out. So what are we going to do? We're going to upgrade this plane. So I'm going to give you another good look at it. So you see it. And, oh, I might be able to see right here, 21st Century Toys, made in China. Look at the bottom here. Let me get so you can see this better. It's hard. I apologize. I'm working on a different camera system, but I want to get these videos out and see. These were the rage. I mean, you go to Toys R Us and you have older people, kids buying these, and they're not really toys. They can like get mangled up, and I baby these things, but parts fall off. This one, for the most part, is okay. I've re-glued a few things, used like crazy glue, cyclamate, and it'll work. Now, going back to this plane, they upgraded it with a different engine. So we're going to move this over here, because it's not in our video now. And we're going to look to the Veltro. The Veltro is basically that same plane, and this is in the Italian Air Force that was in northern Italy that stayed with the Nazis after we invaded Italy. The difference with the Veltro is the 605 engine. Now it looks a little bit different. I'm going to use a Cobi one here. Why is this C202 smooth and this one not? This one is not because these two things that you see hanging are oil filter or cooler oil coolers. Air would come in to help keep the oil cool so it wouldn't cook and get dirty and fouled out and wind up making the engine run, having basically muck lubricating it, and you get shot down. Please note on this, if I'm trying to get this, you could see the detail on the inside of this. This is how they actually look. You can see the spars up here where the plane's put together. I'm going to try to get this so you can see it. And I do, again, apologize. I'm trying to do something better with this camera I have. I might have to get another camera, and that should make for a little bit better detail seeing. But this is what it looked like. I can give you a close-up of the oil coolers, filter things. Air would suck in here, and it would help keep the oil basically clean and cool to the point, like I said, that there wasn't cooking in the engine. Dimension of the engine is kind of the same, except 1,500 horsepower versus 1,000. Now, the speed on this one, according to the book that I showed you, was 399 miles per hour at, I don't know, 19,000 feet or something like that. But this plane is totally different. It still has the two 12.7 millimeter machine guns of 50 calibers, but it has the addition of the MG 151 Mauser 20 millimeter cannon. What does that mean? It means it's pumping 20 millimeter explosive shells into the planes it's flying against. One little squeaky burst from these guns in the wings, and your plane is a flaming wreck going into the Mediterranean or wherever. I'm going to close the landing gear up on this one so you can see this one, and it's totally enclosed state with where we'll be flying. And that's the thing with a lot of these models that I don't know, they're frail. You got to be very careful with them. You can break parts off, and then at that point, unlike the Cobis, you can just kind of fix them on your own, make everything good. Not these. You have to have some modeling skills. And like I said, when I was younger, I used to build these 1/32 scale, 1/18 scale, 1/48 scale, 1/72 scale of these aircraft. The only problem with these things, the glue was horrible. I mean, it was just nasty. And you'd have to be in a well-ventilated place. There you go. All closed up. Best as I can without damaging anything. But here it looks closed up. You notice it's a little bit different than the C202. What you see on here, though, is the way they integrated this oil cooler kind of a thing so that you wouldn't be burning up your oil in this plane and basically cooking everything. And that's kind of the beauty of this plane. I mean, they took this engine was produced by Fiat. Alfa Romeo didn't do this one. I guess Fiat was the one that did this. They're probably the ones that came up with the oil cooling thing. Basically, they corrected a flaw in the DB605 engine that the Messerschmitts were encountering, where this one wouldn't. So much so that when the German pilots got the chance to fly these after Italy collapsed in '43, they flew these instead of flying an ME-109G. These were a lot more maneuverable. The engine responded better, and they're really nice planes. This thing here, like I said, 399 mile an hour top speed. Other periodicals and books I have 405, 406, so it'll break 400 miles an hour. This is not a plane you want to play with if you're in an American plane. Like if you're in a P-40, which have a top speed, the one model that they were using, I think 362 miles an hour, you don't want to take this one on because he can get higher than you because he's got an engine that's got a really good supercharger on it, and he can climb up, get an altitude advantage, and much more maneuverable, and a very potent plane. The only thing that helped the Allies in fighting against these, the C200, 202, 205s, I think it was a total of 1,500 through March 1943 that were available. The production was from July 41 to August of 44. Then the production would have ended with these. There were many of these available that were used by the Italian Air Force after the war, demonstrator flights, kind of like we had the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds. I don't know what they call it in Italy, but whatever they call it, these are the planes that were flying the formation flying in it. trying to lock the landing gear down. Hopefully I can get it open later. But these were the planes that their air team was using. And like I said, they flew these in like 1951, 53 or something like that. But let me go get the 21st century toy one, and here they are both. The Veltro and the Folgore. Yeah, plane that'll do 373 miles an hour, and a plane that'll do 405. This one is a successor to that one. If you look at these planes, I mean, they're gorgeous planes. The bodies of these planes were phenomenally designed because they were designed by Mario Castaldi, who designed race planes, seaplane race planes from the 1920s and the early 30s before the war. The Schneider Cup, they called them. And he competed against Supermarine, which developed the Spitfire, their plane that they had, and they all were in competition. And look at how clean the lines are in this plane. It's just actually a gorgeous plane, kind of like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or some kind of Maserati sports car. You look at that when you see this, and I can see why if I were a German pilot and I had a chance between being cramped in a BF-109G or sitting behind one of these things and a engine and kind of like tweaked version of what they were using and just flying without all the issues, count me in. I want one of these. They did serve for quite a long time, and like I said, seeing that they didn't have the production capacity to produce a lot, it was amazing that they were able to have as many as they did. These are available if you want to buy these used. Some people might have them new in the box, but then they'll try to sell them to you for $100 or more. Are they worth that? Depending on what you consider being worth. For me, yeah, because I collect these, and some point I have some of these that actually have the boxes. I mean, they're opened up, I use them, but I have the actual boxes. Not for these two. I will keep these because they are a piece of aviation history, and usually you always see American planes, British planes, Spitfires, Mustangs, and Focke-Wulf 109s, Me-109Gs. Well, this is the other plane that was there. Unless you went and looked for it, you don't see much, but if you search it up, you do see how great of a plane this was, and it was something that the Germans weren't really involved in. All they did was sell a production license to Macchi to go ahead and use a Daimler-Benz inline V12 aircraft engines in these planes, and it worked. It worked. So if you want to get one of these kind of planes just for yourself now, the best that you can do from an economic perspective would be to buy the Cobi one. And the Cobi one's pretty good. I mean, as far as detail, I mean, you can see it compared to this. I mean, pretty darn good. The only thing in the Cobi one that's wild is there is a 20 millimeter gun in the propeller hub. They did have that in some of them. I think they installed them on their own once they were in combat, wherever they were at. They weren't a common thing that you could just go ahead and order from the plant. It was like an on-field modification, which made these planes even deadlier because, like I said, these things are actually more maneuverable than an Me-109. And you took one of these on, you didn't realize what it was, and you really wouldn't know what kind of a full armament because, like I said, they were modifying them on field. Well, this plane could give you a very nasty day. But here's how it looked, though, in its last form. And one more look at this because this video is kind of long, but I wanted to show you these, and I wanted to get you acquainted with 21st century toy 1/32 scales. And like I said, you put them up against Cobis. Yes, these Cobis are 1/32 scale. That makes me happy. So, but also, like I said, open up a can of worms by showing these. I have more of these. I could do more videos of these. You want to see like a Corsair Mustang or something, let me know, and I will post another one. I have another video coming up in a couple of days. I will put that on. My dogs are barking, and I apologize. Thank you, and I will see you all shortly again.